What's your story?
My story.
What are we looking at?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 things only adults notice in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
You're still here? Okay, one more number.
For this list, we'll be looking at jokes, references, and themes that'll fly over the heads of this film's younger viewers, appealing more to the adults in the audience. Which Last Wish moment would you have missed as a kid? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Bedside Manner. For most kids, the worst news they're inclined to receive from the doctor is that they need a shot. Adults, meanwhile, dread the day that the doctor tells them that they must take it easier or else they may die.
Doctor, please. Relax! I am Puss in Boots. I laugh at death. You see? And anyway, I am a cat. I have 9 lives.
Puss's 8th brush with death results in an overdue checkup where the doctor informs him that his days are numbered. With Puss in denial, the doctor very bluntly tells him what will happen if he doesn't retire.
So what is that, like, a 4?
That makes 8, Puss. You are down to your last life.
It's hard for anybody to take news like this well, but Puss reacts by giving his doctor a suggestion as well, invoking a term that the kids will likely hear for the first time.
Death comes for us all. Treat?
You've really got to work on your bedside manner.
Number 19. Puss needs therapy. During a daring escape from Jack Horner's base of operations, Puss is reunited with Kitty, who's also introduced to therapy dog Perrito.
Definitely not.
Finally, you need therapy.
While this could be seen as a dig, Kitty speaks the truth given Puss's fear of death and commitment. Although therapy can be an adult concept that not every child will understand, some children may identify with Puss's anxiety, finding that they might benefit from therapy as well.
Hold on. Is the great Puss in Boots asking for help?
Say help.
Adults are sometimes reluctant to send their children to a therapist, but this film helps to dash the stigma surrounding therapy. At the very least, a therapy dog may help them through the hardships of growing up.
Want to rub my belly?
What's happening?
Rub.
Number 18. Shrek references. It's been over a decade since the first Puss in Boots movie and the last Shrek film. For many kids in the audience, this may be their first exposure to the fairy tale franchise.
Welcome to my fiesta! Make yourselves at home!
The callbacks to past movies will likely resonate more with their parents, who were, bizarrely, youngsters when the original Shrek came out in 2001. The cameos from Gingy and Pinocchio aren't hard to miss. The same goes for the ending, teasing a return to Far, Far Away.
Where are we headed anyways?
Off to find new adventures and to see some old friends.
Sneakier cameos include a witch minion from Shrek Forever After, and Puss's surrogate mother Imelda. In another blink and you'll miss it reference, Shrek, Donkey, and Puss recreate a moment from The Lion King. With death on his trail, Puss can no longer live by Hakuna Matata.
My prescription? No more adventures for you. You need to retire.
Me? Retire? Are you the village comedian as well?
Number 17. A Bueller-esque post-credit scene. The MCU has conditioned younger generations to stick around until after the credits for a sequel tease or surprise cameo.
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
This film's post-credit scene instead harkens back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, an 80s classic that the kids might not be acquainted with yet. In that John Hughes film, Ferris breaks the fourth wall, asking why the audience is still present.
It's over. Go home.
While Puss doesn't show up in a bathrobe, we do hear him address the audience, surprised that they stuck around.
Oh, you're still here?
This line is reminiscent of an earlier scene where Puss notices the crowd after the giant fight. As the credits finish, Puss gets the literal last laugh. It's a pointless cherry on top that Hughes fans will appreciate.
Reflections of the good old days. Okay.
Number 16. Goldie's geriatric line. Some kids don't know the meaning of the word retirement. As for adults getting up there, some welcome the idea of moving to a senior living community while others dread the notion of winding up in a retirement home.
I am no lap cat, Doctor. I am Puss in Boots.
Not anymore.
Puss is among the latter, falling into a depressing routine when he reluctantly goes to live with Mama Luna and her countless other cats. Puss's life is devoid of excitement until Goldilocks and the three bears come a-knockin'.
Hello, missus. We're looking for a cat. This cat. We've got an offer for him.
Mama Bear picks out Puss in Boots among the legion of cats, although Goldie has a hard time believing that the geriatric cat before her is the dashing feline on the poster. Kids might not be familiar with such an advanced word, but Granny and Grandpa sure are.
Pickles, you're Puss in Boots?
Not yet, but I will be.
Number 15. The Good, the Boots, and the Ugly. The Last Wish draws heavily from the spaghetti western genre, finding a middle ground between Once Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time in the West. The Sergio Leone film that The Last Wish shares the most in common with is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
You remain tied. I'll keep the money and you can have the rope.
Where that 1966 epic centers on three men racing to a grave of buried Confederate gold, this film sees three groups squaring off over a fallen wishing star. Puss's gang is good and Jack Horner is bad, while Goldilocks and the three bears aren't afraid to get ugly.
Focus! Hand over that map, or I'll punch holes in the lot of ya.
Clint Eastwood's iconic character has been called Blondie and the Man with No Name. The Last Wish has a Blondie in Goldie and a wolf with no name.
In the flesh.
Number 14. Akira inspiration. Chances are most kids have seen Into the Spider-Verse, one of the animated films that inspired the aesthetic of The Last Wish. Yet only a handful of little kids will be familiar with the R-rated Akira, which also helps shape this film's visuals.
Yo! What's up? You're alone?
Joel Crawford, the director of The Last Wish, actually saw Akira as a young child. Rather than being traumatized by the graphic imagery, Crawford was blown away by the hand-drawn explosions, prompting him to draw dust clouds.
Kai! Kay! Anita! Hurry! Get on! Where? Get on!
Crawford's love for Akira can be seen in this film's integration of 2D set pieces and kinetic action. Both movies also climax with a grotesque antagonist who grows out of control before meeting an earth-shattering end. At least Jack Horner didn't get to crush anybody.
Consider this my resignation, mister.
Number 13. The Ethical Bug's familiar voice. Like Pinocchio's talking cricket, the ethical bug serves as the angel on big Jack Horner's shoulder. This Boy Scout bug has his work cut out for him, though, finding that even the most dedicated conscience can't redeem the horrible Horner.
Well, you know what they say. Can't bake a pie without losing a dozen men.
Oh, that was horrible. Your wish is horrible. You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster!
The ethical bug is voiced by Kevin McCann, a DreamWorks production supervisor. Although this is McCann's first acting credit, adults may recognize the voice that he puts on. He sounds an awful lot like acting legend Jimmy Stewart, who was known for playing the ethical everyman.
Do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath?
Somewhat similar to Jack's dynamic with the ethical bug, Stewart's George Bailey had a guardian angel in It's a Wonderful Life. The ethical bug's voice also calls to mind comedian Don Knotts, who defined childhood for many young boomers.
There's good in all people. There's good in all people. You know, Jack, maybe we need to dig a little deeper.
Number 12. A mature voice cast. For a lot of kids, The Last Wish will be their introduction to certain actors who the adults are already acquainted with, including Olivia Colman as Mama Bear and Ray Winston as Papa Bear.
Just give us the map.
And throw in a dozen points.
Eh?
Ooh, have you got any savoury pies?
What?
Yeah, what flavours you got?
No. Can we get all of that in a bag to go?
Andrew has issues on Big Mouth, but hopefully he turns out better than John Mulaney's Jack Horner. As intimidating as Wagner Moura's portrayal of Pablo Escobar in Narcos was, his wolf might be even more terrifying.
I just love the smell of fear.
Kids may know Florence Pugh from the MCU, but definitely not Midsommar. Speaking of which, Midsommar is often compared to 1973's The Wicker Man, which got an infinitely memeable remake starring a bear-suited Nicolas Cage. When Baby Bear, played by Samson Kao, is attacked by bees, the Last Wish filmmakers couldn't resist referencing an infamous cage line.
No, baby, wait!
Ow! Not the bees!
Number 11, the Logan of DreamWorks sequels.
You read these in your spare time? Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Along with the Deadpool films, Logan is one X-Men spin-off that you're not gonna let the kids watch for a few years. Adults who can get into R-rated movies without being carded have noticed a surprising parallel between The Last Wish and Wolverine's, sort of, Last Stand. Both center on legendary heroes with sharp weapons who've repeatedly cheated death.
Jesus, Wolverine, seeing you like this just breaks my damn heart. As soon as I rip it out of your chest.
As they become older and grow out their beards, they set out on a road trip against a hazardous western backdrop with a couple of companions and several antagonists on their trail. It all builds to a gritty final battle where the aging hero faces a seemingly unbeatable foe, forcing him to accept his mortality. Thankfully, Puss's brush with death isn't nearly as bloody as Logan's.
Live your life, Puss in Boots. Live it well.
Number 10, Heaviest Cream. We used to think that Puss had a catnip problem, but it's the cream that he really needs to lay off of. As we see in a flashback, drinking too much cream resulted in the loss of one life. Well, that and a big fall.
A cat always lands on his feet. Watch!
For some, that would be a wake-up call. After losing his 8th life, though, Puss heads straight for the bar.
Another glass of cream. Make it your heaviest.
Oh, I keep the heavy stuff in the back.
In addition to the alcohol reference, kids will probably overlook one of this scene's sneakiest details. Puss has 8 shots of cream, the same number of lives that he's lost. He's on his 9th glass when death shows up, bringing a whole new meaning to the phrase, last call.
You will find your reward does not come easily. This I tell you.
Everyone thinks they'll be the one to defeat me. But no one's escaped me yet.
Number 9, Coins on Eyes. As our heroes flee from Jack Horner, the wolf continues his pursuit of Puss. Just when you thought his red eyes couldn't be more menacing, he picks 2 gold coins off the ground. Placing them on his eyes, the wolf lets Puss know that he's watching him.
Speed up! Go, go, go!
While kids will surely be intimidated, they also might be confused by this gesture. As the legend goes, if you place coins on the eyes of the deceased, it'll serve as payment for the ferryman to take them across the river Styx to the underworld.
The drachma, the drachma. Climb aboard.
This tradition is often linked to Charon, or Charon's obol. According to that myth, though, a single coin was usually placed on the mouth of the deceased. Either way, it's an ancient practice of a bygone era.
Accept this golden gift from Puss in Boots!
Number 8, Big Jack Horner's casual murdering. The Last Wish has a surprisingly high body count. We're not just talking about Puss's 8 lost lives. Most of the casualties come courtesy of Big Jack Horner.
Aren't you gonna help him, Jack? You're losing a lot of men.
I'm not really stressing about the manpower. I've got a bottomless bag of magic weapons. These babies are gonna get me that wish even after the whole team is dead and gone.
In addition to turning one of his hired hands into gold, Jack is responsible for the baker's dozen's doom. Whether sending them into a valley of man-eating flowers, turning them into confetti with his bad aim, or letting them fall after using them to build a bridge, Jack possesses no regard for human or animal life.
You're not gonna shoot a puppy, are you, Jack?
Yeah, in the face. Why?
Kids can tell that Jack is a bad guy, but only adults can fathom just how messed up and psychotic his actions are. At least he's given an appropriate demise in the spirit of Terminator 2. You know, another kid-friendly flick.
What did I do to deserve this? I mean, what specifically?
Number 7, Dingleberries. The sibling rivalry between Goldilocks and Baby Bear boils over as the two begin swapping insults.
You're not even a bear.
Zing! I'm more of a bear than you are.
She got you.
You're nothing but a low-rent Cinderella.
Oh!
Oh!
Well, that's rich coming from you, baby, because you know what you are.
Wait for it.
Goldilocks gets the better of her adoptive brother, calling him, among other things, a dingleberry. Kids won't know this word's meaning offhand. To be fair, adults probably won't either, but they can look it up. Merriam-Webster provides a couple of definitions, including, quote, a foolish, stupid, or contemptible person. There's also the slang version, which means, quote, a piece of dried fecal matter clinging to the hair around the, let's say, where the sun don't shine.
I haven't got dingleberries.
No, you do. You do have them.
Based on the way Baby takes offense, we think the more graphic definition applies in this case. We also wouldn't be surprised if dingleberry is code for, well, something that Baby might be compensating for.
Oi, you shut up, you little mutt, or I'll cut you from pooper to snooter!
Number 6. The bell tolls 8 times. Even if kids rewatch The Last Wish over and over, they likely won't be on the prowl for little details that they missed the first time. Adults rewatching will have their eyes peeled, however.
How's it going? Can you see anything up there?
Some of the most ingenious foreshadowing occurs during the opening fight against the giant. Not only does Puss slam into a sign for Jack Horner's Pie Factory, but it's cleverly established that Puss is almost out of spare lives. This is reflected through a bell that's woven into Puss's battle with the giant.
Hear me if you dare!
Throughout the showdown, we hear the bell ring 8 times. The 8th ring comes when the bell crashes on Puss, claiming his last extra life.
I call this one, the legend will never die!
Now Puss only has 1 life until the bell tolls again. Number 5. Perrito's tragic and messed up backstory. A lot of cute puppies in movies have sad origins, but Perrito's is next level.
What's your name?
Oh, I've been called all kinds of things. Dog, bad dog, stupid dog. Hey you there, get out! Leave it! Drop it! Big rat, small pig, rat face, butt nugget, for brains, you know, that sort of thing.
Little kids might misinterpret the tragic nature of Perrito's backstory, as he relays it in such a chipper way. In Perrito's eyes, his family were pranksters who loved to play hide and seek, although clearly they were trying to abandon him.
They tried putting me in a packing crate, a dumpster. No matter how hard they try, I'd always find them.
They finally succeeded in getting rid of Perrito when they put him in a sock and sent him down the river. Perrito never saw his family again, but he fashioned the sock into a sweater.
So, I got a great story and a free sweater out of it. Win-win!
Apparently his family didn't care enough to give him a proper name, as Perrito simply translates to puppy. The kids may be as oblivious as Perrito, while the adults share Puss and Kitty's shocked reactions.
Wow, that is the saddest, funny story I've ever heard.
Number 4. What the hell did he say? As much as this movie uses the bleep button, it does allow a few genuine swear words to creep past the censors. The most notable instance occurs at Mama Luna's house when Perrito shares his aspirations to be a therapy dog.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm glad you asked. When people feel bad, they can rub my belly. It'll make them feel better.
Remember in the 90s when several animated characters almost said this word? Well, Puss just casually blurted it out. Granted, it's not the first time that this word has come up in the Shrek franchise.
Hey, what? No hell, no. I don't care how big your eyes get, play, it's not going down.
In an era where most PG movies feel more like hard G's though, this film's colorful language warrants parental guidance. Since the film doesn't tiptoe around death, hell was bound to come up.
Who's that?
He's here for me.
Number 3. What did Kitty smell? In addition to Dingleberry, The Last Wish will teach the kiddies words like hell and crap, earning that P in PG. Don't worry, parents, the words you really don't want your kids repeating at Sunday school and synagogue are mostly bleeped.
You're all a bunch of knuckle-dragging, honey-scrounging, grub oafish munching, mangy nugget, and your snooter!
Who knew that Harvey Guillen's Perrito had such a vast vocabulary? The bleep button is almost needed again when Perrito encourages Puss and Kitty to stop and smell the roses.
Take your time and really appreciate what's right in front of you.
Kitty struggles to smell the roses, but she picks up on the scent of bull, and that's where she gets cut off.
This is stupid.
All I smell is bullshit.
The little ones will wonder how Kitty was going to finish that sentence, and their parents aren't cluing them in. We'd say the word, but YouTube's also pretty PG these days.
No matter how hard they try, I'd always find them. So one day, they get creative.
Number 2, the portrayal of anxiety. Swearing and violence might contribute to the PG rating, but that's not what makes The Last Wish such an adult film. It's how the filmmakers explore mature themes like anxiety that make it just as much for grown-up viewers.
Puss, what's wrong?
You wouldn't expect Puss in Boots of all characters to shine a spotlight on mental health. However, as the hairs raise on Puss's arms and he clutches his racing heart, the film provides a surprisingly authentic depiction of panic attacks and PTSD. The film also touches upon how anxiety is linked to depression, preventing people from seizing the day.
I'm supposed to be a fearless hero, a legend. But without lives to spare, I am nothing.
The Last Wish should be essential viewing for children developing signs of anxiety, helping them to understand these emotions and see that they aren't alone.
I am afraid.
Well, it's okay to be afraid.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Meditations on death. Most kids go about their days with little regard or understanding of death. Even adults can act as if they're invincible, in denial that eventually their card will be punched. It might happen suddenly during an accident or shortly after the doctor shares some bad news. Either way, death comes for us all, including those with 9 lives.
And how many times have you died already?
I don't know. I never counted. I am not really a math guy.
The Last Wish tackles this inevitable truth with wisdom. It's only natural to fear death as Puss does. Puss learns that you can't beat death, but you can come to terms with it. He's able to peacefully part with the wolf, accepting that one day they'll meet again.
Sí, hasta la muerte.
Although the film doesn't sugarcoat this bleak concept, it ultimately encourages kids and adults to live their best life.
I hate to say it, but should we make a wish?
Kitty, one life spent with you is all that I could wish for.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.